checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the face. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates tonight. My name is Ron Tyler. I'm the president of Emergency Management Associates here, and we're welcoming you to our program today. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. How about that, guys? We're here for you right here on the air. We want to welcome everybody here today. We have Trish Killian here. Welcome, Trish. Hope you and your husband are doing well. God bless you all. We have 6 people watching, but we don't have but Trish in the chat today. I'm going to hope that other people will join us very soon. Guys, we have a lot we want to talk about tonight. But first, some housekeeping. For those of you that are here, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our presentations. If you enjoyed tonight, give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that we're serious about what we're doing here. We want people to know about it, and giving us a thumbs up gives YouTube the idea they need to share this program far and wide as well to all the viewers throughout YouTube land. God bless them, okay? Now, presently, YouTube has been unsubscribing a lot of people. That's number one. So please check and make sure your subscriptions are up to date. Make sure you're still subscribed to this program. If you're not, please resubscribe. When you subscribe to our program, there is a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that little bell icon. When you do that, a drop-down menu of 3 items is going to come up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. That's the best thing you could do. That way you know when we're on the air, you're getting notified, and if there's ever a very real emergency which happens literally all the time, you're on top of it. We come on the air specifically for emergencies, but during the week, we're on the air sometime after 4 p.m., between 4 and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, with a regular broadcast. On Mondays, we try to talk about earthquakes worldwide. We talk about emergency preparedness. On Tuesdays, okay, we talk about earthquakes on the West Coast. We talk about on Wednesday, the Pneumatic Fault. On Thursdays, we talk about Cascadia. On Fridays is usually Emergency Preparedness Fridays. Today, our preparedness topic is Cascadia, the Cascadia earthquake fault, and what's going to happen, and how all of us can be prepared for what happens. We're going to give you a broad overview about what that Cascadia earthquake looks like and why it's going to happen. Yes, it's going to happen, guys. I guarantee it. Okay? Now, another thing. YouTube is in the process of getting rid of channels. They've gotten rid of a lot bigger channels than this one, okay? Up until almost 3 years ago, we had a channel that was 25,000 people strong. YouTube deleted it, took us off the air. Very shortly after that, we established a new channel. Now, guys, we are approaching 7,200 people strong subscribers to our program. That's the other reason we want to get people to subscribe to our channel. We want to build this back up. We've been on the air on the second channel almost 3 years. April 3rd will be 3 years. Please, guys, please help us build up this channel to where we can get up to 27, 30, 40, 50,000, and even 100,000 subscribers, and we get even more viewers because of that. Okay? We want to get on the air. We want to tell people what is going on so all of you will be prepared for what's going to happen. That's our biggest deal. We want to make sure people are apprised of emergencies that are happening around the globe, here in the United States, and everywhere. That's number one. Number two, we want to talk about emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness, getting our families and ourselves ready for whatever emergency that happens. And we talk about all kinds of emergencies throughout our programs. Okay? Do that all the time. Now, I want to bring up another topic really quick, and then I'm going to leave this topic and go to emergencies and preparedness, and we're going to talk about earthquakes around the world in just a minute. Today is day number 13 in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. Day number 13. Okay, they found 2 gloves about 1.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home. Last night into today, they found another glove inside Nancy Guthrie's home. As you all know, they found blood splattering throughout her home and on the front steps of her home as well. The FBI and the Pima County Sheriff believe that this blood may have come from a hand wound or from her head. Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker. As soon as she was dragged away from her home, away from her phone, her pacemaker was disconnected from her phone. Her phone was relaying important information about her heart. She needs heart medication. She hasn't had a heart medication almost 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks. Tomorrow night it will be 2 weeks. Okay? She needs that heart medication. Now, the FBI has received over 18,000 tips. The FBI has received over 18,000 tips. The Pima County Sheriff's Office has received another 20,000 tips. That's a total of almost 30,000 tips since they've been talking about this earlier this week. Please, guys, please, if you know anything about the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case, anything about Nancy Guthrie disappeared, please call the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI or 1-800-225-5324. 1-800-225-5324. Or call the Pima, Arizona County Sheriff's Department non-emergency line. The non-emergency line at Pima County Sheriff's Office is 520-531-4900. 520-351-4900. Okay, I'm going to continue putting that out until we recover Nancy Guthrie. Okay, I'm going to continue talking about this case until she's returned. Okay, I feel an obligation to do this. Her life is on the line. Okay, I dread to think anything else. Anyway, guys, that's about Nancy Guthrie. Like I said, as soon as any other information comes forward, we'll pass it on to you as well. Now, let's talk about earthquakes worldwide. Okay, let's go over to the USGS map here. Okay, I'm going to take down our EMA banner here. I'm going to take down our webcam as well for the time being. Okay, over here on the Kamchatka Peninsula in the northwestern Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Kamchatka Peninsula, you see an earthquake. An earthquake. How about that? This happens all the time, every day. Every day we've had an earthquake off the Kamchatka Peninsula for about 6 months. Why? Because, folks, about 6 months ago, we had a 7.8 earthquake, had a 7.7, and we also had an 8.8/9.4 earthquake. Why do they say 8.8/9.4 earthquake? USGS says it was an 8.8. When that earthquake hit, I pulled up the scientific data showing that that earthquake was not an 8.8, but a 9.4 major earthquake. 8.8 was sufficient enough also as a major earthquake, but a 9.4 earthquake is another over a magnitude and a half higher than what USGS said it was. They often do that. They don't want people to know what's going on. This earthquake off the southeastern peninsula of Alaska here, or of Russia here, is a 4.4 moderate earthquake. 4.4 moderate earthquake. Let's go south into the Kuril Islands here. Down here, we have another 5.0 earthquake. This is a 5.0 earthquake, 112 miles southeast of Kursk, Russia, in the Kuril Islands. Yes, this earthquake is closer to Hokkaido, Japan, but is still considered the Kuril Islands. The Kuril Islands belong to Russia. This is another 5.0 earthquake, 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Right next to it is another 4.6 moderate earthquake. This also is 22 miles deep. Okay? This is in itself is a very different earthquake. The other was 6.2 miles. This is 22 miles deep. Okay? Very different earthquake. Let's go over to the west coast of Hokkaido, Japan, the northernmost island of Japan. Guys, this is off the coast of Hokkaido, Japan. This is a 4.4 earthquake in the ocean waters here in the Sea of Japan. 4.4 earthquake here is not even felt on Hokkaido. Okay? This is 21 miles offshore from Hokkaido. The ocean waters here absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Okay? We go south. This time on the west coast of Honshu, Japan. This is 4 miles offshore from Maki, Japan, Maki, Japan. This is a 4.8 earthquake. 4.8 earthquake here. Look where it's at. Off the tip of this peninsula. Off the tip of this peninsula. Now, guys, this is 4 miles northeast of Maki, Japan. Right here. Guys, these people on Maki, Japan probably didn't feel this, but if they did, they only felt probably mild, very minor shaking. 4.8 earthquakes are moderate earthquakes. They may have felt some minor, very minor shaking, if anything. That's what happens here. Now, guys, there are more earthquakes here on Japan, but they're not showing them. They're not showing them. They never do. Let's go south here. In the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, we have another earthquake here. This is a 5.5 very large earthquake. 5.0, 5.9 are large earthquakes. 5.5 to 5.9 are very large earthquakes. The upper side of the large earthquake scale. This is a 5.5 earthquake, also 6.2, 10 kilometers deep. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep in the Ryukyu Islands of Japan. Okay, let's go south. There's nothing over here in Taiwan today. But over here in the Philippines, we have another earthquake here. Over here, just southwest of Luzon, Philippines, north of another island. I don't know the name of this island here. North of this other island, we have another earthquake. This is a 4.6 earthquake here near Calatagan, Philippines. Calatagan, Philippines. 7 miles south-southwest of Calatagan, Philippines. 4.6 moderate earthquake, probably didn't get felt. Probably wasn't felt at all. If it was felt at all, very, very minor shaking. The ocean waters absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Okay, let's go down here south of Mindanao, Philippines, the largest island in the Philippine chain. This is off in the ocean, on the Philippine Fault. On the Philippine Fault to the east of the Philippines. Guys, this is another 4.6 earthquake, 49 miles east of Pondagitan, Philippines. 4.6 moderate earthquake was not felt on Mindanao, Philippines at all. We go further south. We have a cache of earthquakes here. Let's go and show the largest earthquake. This is a 5.6 earthquake. This is 172 miles north of Tobelo, Indonesia. A large earthquake, a very large earthquake here. Guys, this is 39.9 miles deep, 40 miles deep. Shell earthquake. Nobody felt this earthquake either. We have aftershocks all around it. This one here, a 4.4 moderate quake. Right next to the 5.6, we have a 4.7. Just southwest of there, a 4.9, 5.0. Here we have a 4.5. Further to the south here, we have another 4.9, 5.0 earthquake, large earthquake. Why do I say 4.9, 5.0? Because USGS has a habit of downgrading earthquakes to the nearest 0.9. We call it the 0.9 society. This is another 4.9, 5.0 large earthquake. Southeast of there, this is a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. Okay. Then this one is 43 miles deep. Shallow earthquakes. All these are shallow earthquakes here. Okay. Now, what else are they showing us? Almost nothing. 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 42 earthquakes. They're hardly showing us anything at all. Literally nothing. Okay? They're showing us these earthquakes here in Pondagitan, or not Pondagitan, but Tobelo, Indonesia. 7 earthquakes. And then one down southeast of Java over here. Okay? In the Banda Sea. This earthquake is a 4.3 earthquake near Tual, Indonesia. 180 miles southwest of Tual, Indonesia. 42 earthquakes, and they show us 8 earthquakes. This is a joke. This is a joke. Okay? I'm so disappointed in the U.S. agency, it's not funny. They're hardly showing us anything at all. Okay? Go up here to China first. I'll get back to the South Pacific in a minute. Up here in China, 4.3 moderate earthquake here. Going further to the southwest here, 5.5 earthquake in Pakistan. 5.5 large earthquake here in Pakistan. Again, I'm going to reiterate my stance on these earthquakes in this region. These people are nomads for the most part. Unless the people are in a very large city, in the outskirts of that city, they are nomads. When they have an earthquake of this magnitude, their lives become completely disrupted. Okay? That's what I believe happened with this earthquake here. 5.5, very large earthquake. This has done considerable damage here in Pakistan. Okay? Unreal. Yet USGS is only showing us one earthquake. When we have a 5.5 earthquake, guess what? We have numerous aftershocks. They're not even showing the aftershocks here. Aftershocks also do damage here. Let's go north. This earthquake is in Afghanistan. 4.5 earthquake here. Moderate earthquake, 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. These are shallow earthquakes. Go over here to southern Iran. This is a 4.6 earthquake here. Okay? 4.6 earthquake here. Also 32 miles deep. Shallow quake. This earthquake right next to the west is a 4.3 near Halajabad, Indonesia, or Halajabad, Iran. 4.3 moderate earthquake here. Go further to the southwest here. Okay, we have another cache of earthquakes here. Also in Iran, near Mohr, M-O-H-R, Iran. This is a 4.6 earthquake. However, look at this. This is a 4.4 earthquake. This earthquake here is a 4.9, 5.0. 6.2, 10 kilometers deep. This one up here to the north, 4.5 earthquake. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Southern Iran. Looks to be a port city here. Okay? They have earthquakes here. Why? Look at the terrain here. Look at the terrain. Guys, this is also one of the plates here. What are many tectonic plates in this region? Seismic energy follows the edge of the plates. That's why we have earthquakes here in Pakistan. That's why we have these earthquakes over here in southern Iran as well. Up here to the north. Okay, we told you about this one over here in Iran here. 4.6. Look where it's at. Look where it's at. Also on the side of the plate here. The edge of the plate. That's why we have these earthquakes. Okay, let's go west here. They're still not showing any earthquakes here in the Turkey-Syria border region. There are 39 earthquakes here in the Syria-Turkey border region. Aftershocks of an earthquake that hit here 3 years ago. Yes, a lot of those earthquakes are tremors, 1.0, 1.8 tremors. But there's also some 2.2, 2.5, and 2.8 earthquakes here, minor earthquakes. Yesterday, there were minor earthquakes, tremors, and there was one 3.7 small quake. Aftershocks of an earthquake, an 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that happened here February 3rd, 2023. They're still not showing any earthquakes in Turkey, Syria war region, northern Turkey, central or southern Turkey, or even western Turkey. Over here in northwestern Turkey here, we see 75 earthquakes here. We see at least 50 to 70 earthquakes here a day. We have had over 100 earthquakes here a day on some days. We keep getting large earthquakes here. That's why we continue to have swarms here. Continue to have swarms because we have large earthquakes inbound. Okay? Over here in the Dokanese Islands, in the Aegean Sea, there are minor earthquakes and tremors here. Why? Because we have magma underneath the Aegean Sea, trying to find its way to light up either in a lava feast out in the ocean here, or open up another volcano, or open up a volcano that has been expired for many years. Okay? Greece, 14 earthquakes here in Greece. USGS shows us none. Not one. Albania up here to the northwest. No earthquakes here. There are 2 minor earthquakes in this region in Albania. Not showing anything. Romania, the same thing. We have 1 2.4 earthquake in Romania. Over here in Croatia, we have earthquakes here. They're not showing any here. Over here in Italy, we have earthquakes here. Why are they not showing any earthquakes here? Minor earthquakes over here in the southern tip of the boot of Italy. Over here in Sicily, minor earthquakes. Going up here to Naples area, we have 2 minor earthquakes and a bunch of tremors here. Why? Because we have a volcano here. Vesuvius volcano still is rumbling, showing signs that it could erupt. That's why we're seeing earthquakes here, because this volcano is steaming and it's having earthquakes here. Magma is recreating itself here in this volcano. This volcano has not erupted in thousands of years, but it could erupt any time. All of the volcanoes around the world are recharging. They're recharging. Going up here in north central Italy, 23 earthquakes here in north central Italy. USGS is not showing one, not a single one. Over here in the northern eastern part of Italy, minor earthquakes and tremors. I think there's probably, if I'm not mistaken, we have 3 minor earthquakes, 2.1, 2.3, and 2.4 earthquakes, and 2 or 3 minor tremors, 1.0, 1.3 tremors here. Over near Milan, where the Olympics are happening right now, no earthquakes at all. Yes, we've had minor earthquakes and tremors here north of Milan here, but right now there's nothing going on here. Over here in the resort areas of Italy and France, minor tremors, minor earthquakes. 1.6, 1.7 tremors, 2.2, 2.6 earthquakes here in southwestern Italy, and over here in France. Going up here into France, minor earthquakes here in France and Switzerland. Minor 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes here. Over here in mainland France, minor earthquakes here throughout the country. Going up here in Normandy area, minor earthquakes here. Okay? They're happening. They always happen. Down here in the southern border region of France, northern Spain, tremors. 1.2 and 1.4, 1.5, or excuse me, 1.1, 1.2, 1.7 tremors here at the border region of Spain or France. Handful of minor earthquakes over here in Spain. Not a big deal. Off the coast of Spain and Portugal, minor earthquakes here as well. 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 minor earthquakes here in the Azores Islands, west of the Strait of Gibraltar. They're happening. They happen all the time. Again, USGS doesn't show anything at all. Not a thing. Down here in South America, central Chile is still rocking from a 6.6 earthquake that I believe was at least a 6.8 earthquake yesterday over in Coquimbo, Chile. This earthquake here near Ovalle, Chile here, south of Coquimbo. This is a 4.3. There are 13 other earthquakes over here in central Chile. 13 earthquakes here. Going up here in the north. 19 earthquakes here in northern Chile. 19 earthquakes. That's interesting because USGS is not showing anything at all. Very sad day. Going over here into Colombia. They're showing us one 5.0 earthquake here in Colombia, near El Cairo, Colombia. 5.0 earthquake here. This earthquake hit at 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time today in Colombia. Look where it's at. North of Cali, Colombia. Okay? Guys, this is in hilly country of Colombia. Mountainous region. That's why this earthquake hit here. We've been seeing a lot of seismic energy coming from Chile, from Peru, Ecuador, coming in here to Colombia. Now it's hit here. We have earthquakes here in Central America. USGS not saying one word about it. 13 earthquakes here in Central America. Not a word from USGS. Off the coast of southern Mexico, we have a 4.8 earthquake here. Okay? This 4.8 earthquake is a moderate earthquake. But it's not the only earthquake here. Guys, this area here is flooded with quakes. Flooded with quakes. Now, give me a second here. I want to show you something. This is important. This is very important. Get anything at all out of this broadcast today, I want to show you this. Remember what's going on here. Please remember what's going on here. Why is it so important? I'm going to show you right now. I'm opening up my webcam. Look at the earthquakes here. Look at the earthquakes here. That's incredible, isn't it? There are 40 earthquakes in this region here. 40 earthquakes. Guess what? That's a drop in the bucket to all these other earthquakes. There are close to 80 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 80 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. USGS is not showing one. Not a single, but I'm sorry, they're showing one. They're showing just one. That's a very sad day. That's a very sad day. Why is it so bad? Let me back this map out. Let's go to Puerto Vallarta here, right here. On the outskirts of Puerto Vallarta here, we have a 3.3 earthquake here. 3.3 small earthquake here. But southwest of there, we have 3 more earthquakes. North to south, north to southwest here, 2.9, 3.0, 3.2, and 3.5. 4 small earthquakes right there. But it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. 60 plus earthquakes right here. Actually, it's 80 plus earthquakes. 80 plus earthquakes. And they want to say nothing's going on. Like heck, nothing's going on. This energy is going up the San Andreas Fault to Southern California. It's moving north. Moving north. We've been talking about earthquakes here in Southern California for a long time now. USPS still doesn't want to show us what's going on here. They never do. They never ever do. Down here in northern Mexico, we have a geothermal plant here generating electricity for northern Mexico. We had a swarm of earthquakes here the other day because they have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Cerro Prieto volcano right there. They have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Cerro Prieto volcano to obtain steam to generate electricity for northern Mexico. Today, they're showing one 1.6 tremor here and one 1.7 tremor here. This water you see here is a holding facility. This is treated sewage that they inject into the upper magma chambers of the volcano to obtain steam from the volcano. That's why we're getting earthquakes here. That's why we're seeing earthquakes over the geysers facility north of San Francisco. That's why we're seeing earthquakes in the Coastal Volcanic region, California. Upper magma chambers of the Coastal Volcanic region, they drilled in the upper magma chambers of the Coastal volcano to obtain steam to power turbines to generate electricity for Southern California Edison. They're doing the same thing down here in Mexico. They've done the same thing up here in the Imperial Valley of Southern California. Here we have the Salton Butte volcano right here, underwater. Men have drilled in the upper magma chambers of this volcano to obtain steam to generate electricity for Imperial Gas and Electric. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Right here is one of those generating geothermal facilities there. There's another facility up here to the north right here. Right there. There are 9 geothermal facilities spread out through the entire Imperial Valley here. 9 facilities. There are earthquakes throughout this Imperial Valley. Earthquakes all over here. Bombay Beach here. At least once a week, I show you anywhere from 15 to 30 earthquakes here at Bombay Beach every day. 3.0 to 4.0 earthquakes here a day. Sometimes even 4.5 moderate earthquakes every day here at Bombay Beach. USGS ignores it. Rarely, if ever, do they show any kind of earthquakes around Bombay Beach at all. They say nothing happens. I call BS. Why? Look where the fault is. Look where Bombay Beach is. The San Andreas Fault runs right into Bombay Beach. Where it goes underneath the Salton Sea, it comes right out down here by Calipatria. It comes out from underneath the Salton Sea here at Calipatria. It's no small wonder we have earthquakes here. 75 to 150 earthquakes here in Calpetri every day. Yet USGS doesn't show anything. Before they interrupted the seismograms here, I was showing you seismograms here at Calpetri every day. 75 to 150 earthquakes here a day. There are probably 500 earthquakes a day here hitting here in the Imperial Valley alone, every day. USGS is not showing one of them today. Not one single earthquake. There is showing one earthquake in the outskirts of the Imperial Valley here in the desert. USGS saying this is in Mexico. It's not. It's not Mexico at all. See the boundary between the US and Mexico here. This earthquake is in the desert area of the Imperial Valley. This earthquake is a 1.6 tremor here on the US side of the border. They're showing one lousy 1.6 tremor here in the Imperial Valley. That's a joke. They're actually showing one earthquake here near Ocotillo Wells, California, as 0.8 microquake. So they're showing two here in the Imperial Valley. These earthquakes here north of there are in Borrego Springs, California, the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. This is a 0.8 microquake. This is a 1.3 tremor. This is 0.8 microquake. Right here. I want to show you this. Look at this, guys. We have a swarm of earthquakes here. Isn't this interesting? This is a 0.6 microquake. This is a 1.1 tremor. This is 0.5 microquake. This is 0.8 here. This is 1.1. This is 1.8. And this is 1.6 tremor. The Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. But they are not the only ones here. Right here, Borrego Springs is 0.8 microquake in Borrego Springs here. We're down here to southwest, 7 miles northeast of Julian, California. 0.6 microquake. This time last year, we had a 5.1 earthquake in Julian. Large earthquake here in Julian, California, in eastern San Diego County. This is 0.6 and a brand new earthquake right here. This also is a 0.6 earthquake, 6 miles northeast of Julian, California. Great place. I've been in Julian many times. Julian's a great place to go out there for a weekend. Right now, they're still in the mountains of Julian. They have bed and breakfast here in Julian, hotels. They also have restaurants, shops. You can go shopping for knickknacks and other things in Julian, California. It's a cowboy town. Used to be a gold mining town here in Julian. Here you can go over there, have breakfast and lunch, and possibly even dinner, some of the restaurants, and have had a hot apple pie from the apples here harvested in the mountains of Julian, and hot apple cider as well. Julian's a great place to go and visit. Julian ought to pay me to talk about it because I love Julian. I've been there many times. I've talked about Julian many times on this program. Further over here in the mountains of San Diego County, Pine Valley. Pine Valley is in the mountains of eastern San Diego County, southeast San Diego County, 0.7 microquake. Then a brand new earthquake here in San Diego County today, west-southwest of Ramona. West-southwest of Ramona, California. Guess what? Right near my town of Poway, where I grew up in. Okay? You're seeing Rosemont here. There's Ramona. This is Poway, California. Guys, this is Poway, California right here. 1.3 tremor here in Poway, California. I spent a lot of time here in Poway. A lot of time here in Poway, California. That's the first time I've seen an earthquake in Poway, California. Interesting. Going almost straight north. Palomar Observatory. Palomar Observatory telescope here. The Hale telescope. I spent many hours here at the Palomar Observatory, both camping and just hiking around the mountains here. Palomar Observatory is 7,000 feet high in the mountains of northeastern San Diego County. Palomar Observatory, guys. Great place to also visit. Here we have a 0.5 microquake here. Okay? Right here at Lake Henshaw, northeast of Escondido, California. 0.8 microquake here. To the northeast, Anza Gap, part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. 0.4 microquake. 0.4 microquake here as well. Anza Gap, Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Go into Los Angeles. They're hardly showing anything going on here. This week, earlier this week on one day, 436 earthquakes here in Los Angeles County and the surrounding area. And what are they doing? Showing us only a handful of earthquakes here. That's pretty sad. Wildomar, California, Orange County, 1.7 tremor here. Winchester, Orange County, is 0.6 microquake here. Northeast here, Cabazon, the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains, 0.7 microquake. But guys, what they're not saying here about Cabazon. If I showed you the sideground from Cabazon, wouldn't just be one 0.7 microquake. Long duration microquakes and tremors here. Long duration microquakes and tremors, many of them. 6 to 7, maybe 8 microquakes a day and tremors, long duration tremors. Lasting minutes, not hours, but minutes. 6 to 7, 10 minutes a piece. But they showed just one microquake. That's pretty sad. Up here to the north, Yucaipa, California, also on the San Andreas Fault. 0.7 microquake here. Going south, the Redlands, 1.4 tremor here. San Jacinto Fault here. Going to the northwest, Loma Linda Medical Center area. Just south of Loma Linda Medical Center. is 0.8 microquake. But what they're not showing you, there are not just microquakes here in Loma Linda, Mary Loma area. There are all kinds of tremors and minor earthquakes as well. 2.0, 2.8, 2.9 minor earthquakes here in Mary Loma, Loma Linda area. They're not telling us the truth about anything going on. What they're also not showing us is Fontana here. Fontana is right in here. They're not showing us squat. Not showing us squat. We have tremors, we have minor earthquakes, and we also have 3.0 earthquakes in Fontana, California. But heaven forbid they tell us about it. In Riverside, California today, you see Riverside here? Riverside, California has 20 minor earthquakes. 20 minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9 earthquakes here. Riverside. They're not showing microquakes. They're not showing tremors. There are tons of tremors. Like I said, 20 minor earthquakes here in Riverside. Minor earthquakes in Riverside are not even felt. They're not felt anywhere. No one can feel minor earthquakes at all, unless you might be very, very sensitive. Then you might. To the west, Corona, California. The 0.3 microquake here. But again, they're not telling us everything here. Every day, they have microquakes, they have tremors, they have minor earthquakes here as well. They've also had a couple small 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes here near Corona. They're still not telling us the truth what's going on here. Throughout the greater Los Angeles area, they have over 436 earthquakes a day. They're hardly showing us anything here in LA either. They can't possibly be honest with us at all. Right here, off the coast. Okay? My wife was born in a town called San Pedro, California. Off the coast of San Pedro. 2.0 earthquake here. They're saying 2.0 earthquake south of Las Flores, California. Here in the Pacific Ocean. They're hardly showing us anything going on here. This is also south of Malibu. South of Malibu, California, right there. Okay? Incredible. They can't possibly be honest with us at all. Going north here. San Simeon again. Our buddy Sage Pup years ago went with his fiance, girlfriend, over here at San Simeon and visited. While they were there at San Simeon, they had a 5.0 large earthquake. Shook them up. Did a little bit of damage, but shook them up. Now we have a 1.0 earthquake here in San Simeon, California. Going to the northeast. Guess where this is, guys? Guess where this is? Earthquake capital of the world. Earthquake capital of California. Parkfield, California, guys. We have a 1.5 tremor here in Parkfield, California. No, they didn't feel, but it's a tremor. It's a tremor here on the San Andreas Fault. Going north, the Pinnacles, oil and gas area here on the San Andreas Fault. We have a 1.6 tremor here. Just barely north of that, another earthquake. 2.1 earthquake also in the Pinnacles. Just north of that, northeast of there. This is 1.0 tremor, also in the Pinnacles, oil and gas area on the San Andreas Fault. Northeast of Monterey Bay, right here, Morgan Hill, California. Morgan Hill, California, right between the San Andreas and the Hayward Fault. 1.1 tremor here. Over here on the western side of San Francisco Bay, Pacifica, California. We've been having earthquakes here in Pacifica for the last 2 weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks. Here today in Pacifica, we have a 2.2 earthquake. Two point two earthquake, but guess what? Look at this. This is a 2.5. 2.5 earthquake, guys. 2.2, 2.5 minor earthquakes right here in Pacific, California. On the San Andreas Fault. On the San Andreas Fault. Then we come over here east of the fault, east of Hayward, west of the Calaveras. Livermore, California. 1.7 tremor here. Just south of San Ramon, California. 1.7 tremor here. I further expect to see more earthquakes at San Ramon, California. I expect a lot more earthquakes in this region. I don't think we've had the largest earthquake here. I truly believe this area is going to open up in a major earthquake here at any point in time. I think it's going to happen more sooner than later. California is continuing to show forth earthquake energy. An increase in seismic activity, increase in earthquakes here. And also not just an increase in earthquakes, but an increase in earthquake strength all over California. Over here in San Francisco, earthquakes are locked and loaded here. They're locked and loaded. They're ready to go. They're ready to go here. Going north. Okay. East of the San Andreas Fault. Cobb, California. What's this? What's this? This is in the Sonoma County area. The Geysers Geothermal Facility, where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam to power turbines to generate electricity in this area. This is a 1.0 tremor here. Earthquakes here all day long. This is a 1.0 tremor. This is a 1.9, 2.0. This is a 1.1. Earthquakes throughout this area are a result of men drilling into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam to power turbines here, just like over in the geysers. Or this is the geysers, just like in the Salton Sea, just like over south of the border, south of Cerro Prieto volcano. Coza volcano to the southeast. They do it all the time. North of Reno, Nevada, they do it all the time. That's what continues to happen here in Sonoma County, California, in the geysers facility here. All day, every day. North of there, in the Mendocino National Forest, Brook Trails, California, 1.7 tremor here. We go north on the Mendocino Fault. 2.4 minor earthquake here, Redway, California. We go out to the San Andreas Fault here, just off the coast of Petrolia, California. 2.0 earthquake here. We go further out here over to the Triple Junction, where the San Andreas Fault meets up with the Cascadia subduction zone that runs to the north all the way up to Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Here we have a 2.0. 2.0 earthquake at the Triple Junction. Out here to the west. The third earthquake fault that comes here and joins here with the Cascadia and the San Andreas Fault at the Triple Junction. The Gorda Escarpment. Here we have a 2.5 earthquake here. Right next to it, a 2.4. Almost every day there are minor earthquakes and small earthquakes here in the southern region of the Cascadia subduction zone. Every day. Every day. Now, why is this important? Because, guys, the Cascadia megathrust earthquake that is supposed to be originated offshore from Seattle, Tacoma area, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, that Cascadia earthquake, 9.0, 10.0 earthquake, is going to occur right in this region between the Cascadia and the Juan de Fuca Fault. That zigzag fault out to the west in the Pacific Ocean here is the Juan, Juan, de Fuca, Fuca, Juan de Fuca Fault. This is where we're going to see the 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. It's going to happen. It happened in January 2000, or not 2000, January 1700. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Why is all of this important? Because, guys, back in 2019, Chris Goldfinger, professor emeritus now at Oregon State University, met with his colleagues over here in San Francisco, held a symposium. At that symposium, he said that the Cascadia earthquake can trigger the San Andreas Fault. The Cascadia megathrust earthquake can trigger the San Andreas Fault. As we said before, the San Andreas Fault is going to be felt up all the way up here into Alaska. All the way up here into Alaska. That same energy is going to be felt across the entire North American continent, west-east. Canada and the United States, west-east. It's also going to be felt to the south, up and down the entire west coast. Chris Goldfinger said it would trigger the San Andreas Fault. That energy would be felt all the way down in northern Mexico. Now, the further the distance that the seismic energy travels, the less energy that it's going to carry with it. By the time it reaches San Diego County, that area, LA, San Diego County, we're probably going to see a 7.0 earthquake down here to the south. But that energy is going to reach across the entire North American continent, all the way across. Canada, all the way across the United States, north and south, east to west, east. By the time the energy reaches the East Coast, we're likely to see 5.0 energy up and down the entire East Coast of North America. It's likely to happen. That's why we're talking about it. We want everybody to understand what's going on here. Everyone that lives here is going to be affected by it. That's why we talk about it. Now, while I'm here on the East Coast, just about 2 hours north of me this morning, right here, at the North Carolina-Virginia border, we had a 2.2 earthquake here. Why is this important? About 4 years ago, we had a 5.0 earthquake here. Sparta, North Carolina. Sparta, North Carolina, 5.1 earthquake. 5.1 large earthquake here. In the Blue Ridge Mountains. The Blue Ridge Mountains, part of the Appalachian Mountain chain on the Eastern Continental Divide. This is the first earthquake we've seen here in Sparta, North Carolina since that earthquake. 2.2 earthquake. Now, after that large earthquake hit, we had a lot of tremors and minor earthquakes. Aftershocks of that 5.0 large earthquake. This may be an aftershock of that quake, but this also could be a foreshock of another large earthquake hitting. It could be a foreshock of another large earthquake hitting. This is 2 hours north of where I'm at. You see Morganton, North Carolina here? See Sparta, North Carolina there? That's where that earthquake hit. This could be a foreshock of another earthquake coming. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, on our Facebook Messenger threads, I showed you this earthquake on our Facebook Messenger threads on our Quakes and Volcano thread this morning. I spoke a little bit about it, having 2 hours away from us. The year after I got here, actually the summer after I got here, a friend of mine and I traveled to Sparta. I've shown you pictures of that earthquake hitting. What happened? Damaging buildings, damaging homes in Sparta, North Carolina. Large earthquake. Large earthquake. It's going to happen again. Now, this is the Eastern Continental Divide. Why are we seeing earthquakes here? I've talked about it a great deal in the 5.5, 6, well, almost 7 years I've been on the air now. The North Mid-Atlantic Fault. The North Mid-Atlantic Fault you see here in your slide. The North Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. It's going like this. It's literally going like this. It's pushing Europe and Africa in the easterly direction. It's pushing North America, Greenland, Canada, the United States, northern Mexico, and also South America in a southwesterly direction. That's why we're seeing earthquakes here on the east coast of USA and Canada. That's what's going on here. Right here. This is an earthquake here. A 2.4 minor earthquake here in the northeastern Tennessee seismic zone. The northeastern Tennessee seismic zone. The other day when we talked about New Madrid, we show you two towns here having earthquakes in the eastern Tennessee seismic zone. This is the southern side, the southern end of the Eastern Continental Divide. That's why we're continuing seeing earthquakes here. This is a 2.4 earthquake here, Madisonville, Tennessee. Yes, we have earthquakes over here on the New Madrid Fault. They're going to continue. We have earthquakes here in Oklahoma. I keep telling you about these earthquakes. Earthquakes here are caused by fracking, oil and gas fracking operations going on here. A new earthquake right here, Calumet, Oklahoma. We've recently seen a lot of earthquakes here in Calumet, Oklahoma. This is a 2.4 earthquake here. These are prevalent. These are prevalent. As I said, these earthquakes are in the area, the region, where we have oil and gas pumping operations going on. Oil and gas fields all over this area. 586,000 pumps and jacks in Oklahoma. Untold numbers in Texas. You see a lot of earthquakes here in Texas as well, especially southwestern Texas. Oil and gas pumping operations all over the place, guys. That's why we're having earthquakes here. This is a 1.7 tremor here. Mentone, Texas. 14 miles northeast of Mentone, Texas. 1.7 tremor here. This is 1.4. This is 1.5. A whole mess of earthquakes here, guys. To the south, 1.5, 1.4, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.3, and a 1.5 tremor here. Look at this. Right next to the oil and gas pumping operation there. Look at all those oil and gas pumps and jacks. Further up here, look at all these oil and gas pumping jacks, pumping plants. Huge oil and gas field here, guys. That's why they have earthquakes here. This is 1.7 tremor here. Oil and gas pumping operations, guys. Further over here to the west, the same thing. Oil and gas pumping operations. 1.7 tremor here. Further to the south, 2.3, Toyah, Texas. Look at all these earthquakes. 1.4 tremor, 1.1, 1.0, Balmoral, Texas. 1.0, Balmoral, Texas as well here. Earthquakes all over this region. They're saying this is in New Mexico, but it's not. You see the border of New Mexico and Texas here. This is northwestern Texas. 1.6 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here. This is a 1.5. And this is a 1.7. Oil and gas fields all over this region. Okay. A few minutes ago, we talked about California happening. I told you about the Cascadia earthquake here. What's happening? The United States Geological Survey is not telling us the truth about what's going on here. They never tell us the truth at all. It's my belief they don't know what the truth is. This earthquake is near Capleton, Washington. Capleton, Washington. 1.6 tremor here. Going north here into the Olympic Peninsula. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Quilcene, Washington. We've seen a lot of earthquakes here in Washington, especially here in Quilcene. Yesterday I showed you all kinds of earthquakes here in the Puget Sound region. Friday Harbor, Loomy Island, Orcas Island. I showed you earthquakes all over this region, at the volcanoes as well. But they're still not showing us earthquakes here. Mount Rainier. Earthquakes all over Mount Rainier. Tremors, minor earthquakes, all kinds of microquakes, and small earthquakes here at Mount Rainier. All kinds. They're not showing not one here. Not even one. They're not showing any earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens or to the east, Mount Adams. Not showing us any earthquakes. There are earthquakes here. They're not showing any earthquakes down here at Mount Hood. Yesterday I showed you earthquakes here at Mount Hood. They're happening all day long, 7 days a week, 65 days a year. They're happening. It's not just earthquakes here in Washington State. Earthquakes I showed you here at Washington State at the volcanoes are a result of the Cascadia earthquake. The Cascadia region, guys. The Cascadia region here. The Cascadia subduction zone runs from Cape Mendocino to the south, all the way here to the north, to Vancouver Island to the north. 700 miles from Cape Mendocino to Northern California, to Vancouver Island in Canada. The Cascadia megathrust earthquake is also a product of the Juan de Fuca plate sliding beneath the North American plate. The Juan de Fuca plate and the Cascadia subduction zone sliding underneath the North American plate. That's what's happening here. When these plates are locked, they release in the form of a megathrust earthquake. In the past, the effects have been catastrophic. The last time this happened at approximately 9 p.m., January 26, 1700. The resulting 9+ earthquake caused several minutes of shaking and a devastating tsunami which flooded fields as far away as Japan. Tsunami. Covering the entire Pacific Basin. Here. That's not a good picture of it. Covering the entire Pacific Basin here. It's my feeling that tsunami went up to Alaska, Bering Sea, went up to the Kamchatka Peninsula where very few people live. Yes, Japan felt it here because the Japan people, they didn't feel it, but they saw what happened with the tsunami. They kept immaculate records. That's why we know the date and the approximate time that the earthquake happened. It's going to happen again. Scientists over the years have urged government officials to prepare for a terrifying and unprecedented magnitude 9 plus earthquake, a magnitude 9 to magnitude 10 megathrust earthquake that could possibly unleash one of the most deadly tsunamis that we've seen here on Earth. The Cascadia subduction zone is a region where two tectonic plates are colliding. The Juan de Fuca Fault, a small oceanic plate being driven underneath the North American plate, atop which the continental United States and Canada rests. Right there. Subduction systems, let's talk about that. Where one tectonic plate slides under another like this. These subduction systems are capable of producing the world's largest known earthquakes. We've seen it down south in Indonesia, in the Southern Pacific, in Southeast Asia, where 7 different tectonic plates are colliding. One plate sliding under the other just like that, like I showed you. These subduction systems are capable of producing the world's largest known earthquakes. A prime example is the 2011 Tokyo earthquake that rocked Japan. Cascadia has been essentially seismically very quiet compared to other subduction zones, but it's not completely inactive. As I pointed out before, we've had earthquakes all over Washington and Canada and Oregon every day. It doesn't matter whether the USGS shows them to us or not, they happen every day. They don't want anybody to know it's going to happen. That's why we're talking about today on our program. Research indicates that the fault ruptured in a magnitude 9.0 plus event in 1700. That's roughly 30 times more powerful than the largest predicted San Andreas earthquake. Researchers suggest that we are now roughly within the 300 to 500 year window during which another large Cascadia event may occur. Right now, scientists believe we're 34 years into it. 34 years past due for the Cascadia earthquake to happen. In 2016, government officials participated in a very extensive earthquake drill called Cascadia Rising. I was part of that drill. In 2014, we had a pre-drill. The pre-drill was held in Spokane, Washington, involving every police department, every sheriff's office, every fire department, every paramedic and EMT that we could find. All of the regions, Army National Guard, Air National Guard, everybody. We even had Canada officials involved in that earthquake drill. We brought people from Vancouver Island, Vancouver, British Columbia, all over Alberta, Canada as well. We had people as far east as Montana and Wyoming, Idaho, down even into northern Utah. Why all these people? Because these people will also be affected when the 9.0, 10.0 earthquake hits. Like I said, in 2016, we had our first Cascadia Rising drill. Federal, state, local officials from several states participated in the drill, along with units from the National Guard again. For years before, participants worked on plans and protocols for the rupture of the Cascadia Fault region. In June, between June 7th and 10th, teams came together from several states and agencies and fully opened the emergency operations centers in the states and regions participating. Increasing concern about the possibility of a megathrust earthquake. Another report suggests that the growth of subtle electromagnetic signals have been detected in the upper atmosphere of the Earth in many parts of the world. The most intense signals appear on the U.S. West Coast and parts of the Midwest. Some of these signals also appear in the upper latitudes of North America and in the southern Pacific Ocean. More ominously, a report says that scientists have confirmed the independent analysis of New Zealand mathematician, a longtime weather forecaster, mathematician, Ken Ring. He predicted the deadly earthquake in Christchurch, New Zealand. Scientists have now said that, like other citizens had thought, that is just a matter of when, not if, a Cascadia devastating earthquake strikes. Just like what happened in Christchurch, New Zealand. Alaska. The earthquake is going to trigger and wreak havoc up and down the entire west coast of North America, unleashing a tsunami around other parts of the world as well. The rupture of the Cascadia Fault Zone could cause damage and destruction on a scale bigger than the Japanese earthquake and tsunami of 2011. Mr. Ring of New Zealand explains his methodology for forecasting earthquakes in the following way. The other planets also have a strong influence on the Earth, but indirectly, by influencing the Sun and other large planets as well in the solar system. The convergence of the planets, planetary geometry, the alignment of the planets causes electromagnetic radiation. The electromagnetic radiation goes through the atmosphere, heats up the plates, just like the plasma radiation from the sun, heats up the plates and also the faults, where all that friction has kept the plates and the faults in place, heats up the plates and faults, and all the stuff that's in between the faults and plates, holding the plates together, all the gunk and grime, all the biological material, the dirt, the sand, and the rock, heats it up, turns into an oily, greasy-like substance. When that happens, that releases the faults and causes earthquakes. It also releases the plates to have movement like this, major movement. Now, let me show you this. If the sun were a basketball, the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn would be the size of a grapefruit, and the Earth on such a scale would be the size of a grain of pepper. Jupiter and Saturn are going to cause extra pull on the sun, as is in the case of the Earth and the Moon. These large solar tides become solar activity and solar flares. Together with normal plate tectonics and underground forces, for example, Jupiter and Saturn, creating a time of tug of war with the Earth in the center. That's why in different places earthquakes occur above 7.0 magnitude. That's why we have these earthquakes. Now, low pressure associated with catastrophic earthquakes in the Midwest, which today continues to suffer from heavy rainfall and snow, and in particular affect the New Madrid Falls in Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, and Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, which in the last 6 months have experienced several thousand earthquakes. Those states I just mentioned on the New Madrid Fault have experienced several thousand earthquakes in the last 6 months. We've talked about that, haven't we? But the most ominous part of the report is a warning that penetrated faults in California can survive the most devastating earthquake during many decades. The penetrated faults in California can survive the most devastating earthquakes during many decades. Further, interesting, because of the Cascade earthquake drills, the United States has declared that regular exercises with U.S. military, the National Guard, agencies of the federal, state, and local governments, Canadian representatives, the State Department, the U.S. Agency for International Development, agencies are ready to respond to the threat. When we did our first drill in 2014, we had the Red Cross also there. We had citizens from throughout Utah, throughout northern Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, and Western Canada. All were taking part of the training. They've taken part in training since. They continue. Why? Because everyone wants to be prepared for when this earthquake hits. Like I said, the Red Cross has also been there. They've been a great part of the training. Church has also been there, been part of the training. We've had regular citizens that we have paid to be victims of the earthquake. So we have our agencies and people there trained to take care of the victims of the earthquake. If the worst happens, because of the cross training we've had and many diverse agencies involved, we believe that our success and hopefully an increase in the number of survivors will happen as a consequence of our training and our readiness. That's what we hope. We talked a lot about preparedness and preparedness planning. The preparedness plan that everyone has discussed and planned is coordinating between scientists, government officials, emergency services, first responders, health providers, and business experts. We have used doctors, we have used nurses, we have used hospitals during this training because all of them will also be involved in what happens here during the Cascadia earthquake. As everyone knows, the longer the wait, the bigger the quake. With major earthquakes rattling around the Pacific Ring of Fire lately, we've seen it happen. We know that these tectonic plates have been locked up. The stress, the energy, the force is locked up. When it does release, that power and unleashed fury will be very dangerous and devastating. Though we still have a lot of work to do, we can be proud of the work that we've done, the multi-year effort that we put forth, and the commitment that we've given to the communities up and down the coastlines, out across the states, to make time and resources available in support of this important Cascadia initiative. After all, it is incumbent on our regional partnerships and our collaboration to execute our critical mission of supporting the survivors when they need us most. At no time can we afford to let that train go down. At no time can we waste any effort to make sure we have survivors here, that we make sure our victims are taken care of, making sure our people, our families are taken care of when they need us most. When the catastrophic megathrust earthquakes happen, we've seen happen across and around the world. When they finally hit here, which until the last decade have been ignored, until they pose a direct threat, we believe that we can support the survivors and hopefully save many lives. Since 2012, geologists have been able to deploy 55 GPS monitors along the coast of Oregon to record subtle ground deformations that result from the plate's inability to slide past each other. Back in 2012, the University of Oregon received they received a donation to buy 55 seismographs put along the coastline of Oregon to record earthquakes that happen there. Those sensors off of Oregon have recorded over 219 earthquakes a day. Those seismographs have recorded over 219 earthquakes a day and over 80,000 earthquakes per year. If we are indeed having at least 200 earthquakes a day off of Oregon, we have at least that many earthquakes also in Washington. The USGS and PNS I'm talking about. Why is the United States Geological Survey and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network not reporting these to the public? We want answers, guys. If we have Pacific Northwest Seismic Network people or U.S. Geological Survey people here, we want some answers. Why are you not reporting these earthquakes to the general public? We want answers, guys. We want answers now. Not yesterday, we want them now. Just like historic seismicity, the plate locking is more common in the northern and southern parts of Cascadia and Southern California. That's why we have so many earthquakes in Southern California. Geologists are now able to observe difficult to detect seismic rumblings, known as tremors. These events occur over a time span of several minutes up to weeks, taking longer than typical earthquakes. They don't cause large ground motions. They do not release significant amounts of energy as once thought. They hardly release any energy at all. And as a result, the Cascadia subduction zone is still moving. It is still getting locked up more. As the seismic energy locks up here, it's only going to increase until it breaks. Our results provide new insights on how this subduction zone works, and possibly others. We've been reporting on these seismic zones for the last 7 years, and how these earthquake fault zones react and behave over geologic time, considering even millions of years. Unfortunately, the results that we've seen here with Emergency Management Associates can't completely forecast when the next large Cascadia megathrust earthquake is going to occur. But we are telling. We are preparing for everybody to see this, because everybody will. Everybody that's watching this program today, or everybody that will watch it, you all are going to see the Cascadia earthquake hit. In order to forecast this completely, this is going to require more intense research, dense active monitoring of the subduction zone, both onshore and offshore. That's why we talk about it so often. We want you to know what's going on. We pull up seismic events. We don't just look at USGS or the Pacific North Seismic Network to tell us what's happened. We go find the data. That way we can better forecast when it's going to happen. We can give you guys a heads up. We have a lot of our family members in the Cascadia subduction zone. A lot of people. This work must be done to save lives. The work that has already been done does suggest that a large event is likely to start at any point in time. As Christopher Goldfinger said, it's likely to start off the coast of Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, and Vancouver, British Columbia. There is a train of thought that says it could happen in the southern part, but it's very unlikely. But like I said, Christopher Goldfinger in 2019, December 23rd, 2019, in San Francisco, California, said that the Cascadia subduction zone earthquake could trigger the San Andreas Fault up and down the entire fault line. Both Cascadia and the San Andreas Fault are locked up. So when this earthquake hits, the areas where both faults are locked up are going to experience devastating circumstances. Catastrophic earthquake movement, destruction, up and down the entire fault line. It remains important for the public and policymakers, yes, policymakers, politicians, to stay informed about the potential risk involved here in living with and in a subduction zone fault zone, and to support programs that are still under development, such as the Earthquake Early Warning System, that seeks to expand our monitoring capabilities and mitigate the event of loss in a large rupture of an earthquake. It's also important for people to live in these regions to become fully prepared to a point that they will survive a severe megathrust earthquake that's going to occur here. And it's going to occur. We need to eat, we need to preach, and we need to live a lifestyle of preparedness. We must teach ourselves to be prepared and what to do when an emergency strikes. It's up to each one of us. It's up to each one of us to make sure this happens. It's up to us to be prepared. We need to develop emergency preparedness kits. We need to write out our preparedness plans. We need to exercise our preparedness plans with our family, with our businesses, and our entire community around us. If we don't, we're not going to have survivors. We will have devastating injuries and fatalities. Do we have any questions here? Do we have any questions here? I've been talking about Cascadia for years now. I think next week we'll specifically talk about the Cascadia earthquake. We'll delve into it because maybe, just maybe, that will alert people enough to get prepared, because this earthquake is going to happen. It's not going to be fun at all. It's going to be devastating, guys. I promise you it's going to be devastating. Does anybody have any questions for me? Trish Killian says she wishes we had better and faster ways of knowing when an earthquake is coming. I agree. I wish we did. Right now, all we have is earthquake's early warning system that might give us just seconds, only seconds before the earthquake hits. That's not very long at all. The science of tracking and predicting earthquakes hasn't changed much over the last 5 years. That's because the politicians are telling the agency, don't tell anybody when anything's going to happen, because they want to be in control. They want everybody to be under their thumb. They want to control everybody. They want people to continue paying taxes to keep them in office. They want people to pay taxes to keep lights on in the counties and cities. They want the people to pay taxes to keep the roads repaired. If people knew what was going to happen, they will leave these areas. They will leave the beach areas of Washington and Oregon. They would leave the beach areas of Southern California. Because, folks, the tsunami is not just going to occur in Washington and Oregon or Alaska. It's going to go all around the Pacific Rim, all around the Ring of Fire. Families and communities are going to be completely devastated because our politicians don't give us a flying leap of information. They don't care. They want us to keep paying taxes to keep them employed. If people really knew what was going to happen, they would leave. And the politicians would be unemployed. That's what's really going on here. That's what's going on here. Do we have any questions? Any questions? I want to thank my friend Arnold for being here today as well. He's from Alberta, Canada. He's an awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. I appreciate him being part of our family. I've appreciated the donations he's given us to help this channel grow, to keep us going here. I appreciate all of you being here. Judy Olson from Southern California is here. God bless you too, Judy. We appreciate you here. Carol Z1J7R is here. Thank you for being here, Carol. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you here. Do we have any questions? I want to thank our moderators here as well. Our moderators are awesome. They keep this channel on the air. They have prevented people from doing things and saying things on the chat that would have YouTube take us down. They make sure our family members are taken care of here on our channel. I love each and every one of our moderators here. We love them very much. I want them to know it. I want all of our EMA family to know it as well. We love and appreciate each one of you. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, the Cascadia earthquake is going to happen. I promise you that. The better prepared we are, the more likely event we're going to save lives. We're going to save our friends, neighbors. We're going to save our family members, our progenitors. May God bless each one of us in that effort. It's all of us that are going to be able to do it. We can't do it alone, but we can do it together. Now, before I leave tonight, I want to leave you with a thought. I've had a lot of effort put into this. I've gone to Proverbs today. Proverbs chapter 16. I'm going with verse 1, 2, and 3 here. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Even verse 5. And every one that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be punished. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is little with righteousness than with great revenues without right. The Lord loves us. The Lord wants us to be prepared. He's talking about preparing each and every one of us. Preparing each and every one of us in the ways of the Lord. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. If anything happens tonight or tomorrow, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. If anything more happens, anything major happens with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. We're going to take tomorrow off unless something happens. We will be back on the air on Sunday at 12:30 for another episode of our Come Follow Me Sunday School class. We're going to be talking about Genesis 7 and 8 tomorrow, or on Sunday. Genesis 7 and 8 on Sunday. Read your scriptures, maybe bring your scriptures to our class and share information on our chat. We love that. May God bless you, be with you this and always, and bless your families. God bless our EMA family and all those around us. God bless those family members that are sick and afflicted. God bless them that they may return to us very soon. We love you. We love you. We love and appreciate each and every one of you and your families. May God bless you. I ask that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. We will see you back with us Sunday afternoon at 12:30. For come follow me, the Savior said. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety. The vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing fan. Every share and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.